Hey everyone, let's jump right in. As someone who spent years acting as an observant community mediator, the person who somehow always ends up listening to both sides of those fierce fence line disputes, I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through today's explainer. We're unpacking a fascinating piece of source material about an astrological placement known as Rahu in the third house. But don't worry, we aren't just going to sit here and talk about distant stars and planets today. No way. We're going to decode the very real, everyday dynamics of your street, your apartment building, and your local community. So let's dive into this. So tell me, why does the neighborhood gossip always reach you first? Have you ever noticed that you're the one who somehow knows exactly why that moving truck arrived at number 42 in the dead of night? Or why you're always the very first to hear about those upcoming changes to the local park? Well, if you constantly find yourself smack in the center of local chatter without even trying, this explainer is going to make a whole lot of sense of your everyday life. Rahu in the third house is basically a cosmic neighborhood watch. It's an astrological placement that drives intense curiosity, communication, and influence right inside your immediate local environment. In astrology, Rahu represents a hungry, laser-like focus. And the third house? Well, that governs our immediate surroundings, our siblings, and, yep, our neighbors. To picture this, imagine being born with a highly tuned, invisible antenna sitting right on top of your roof, constantly picking up the social frequencies of your street. It literally turns you into a natural, hyper-aware observer of your local environment. Part 1. The Cosmic Neighborhood Watch. Observation from the window. So how does this actually play out over time? Well, this evolution of local awareness starts early. In childhood, a really strong curiosity about neighbors develops. You were probably that kid peering through the living room blinds, wondering what the folks across the street were planting in their garden. Fast forward to adulthood, and this evolves into a bit of a superpower. You start noticing small details and nonverbal cues that others completely miss. You might spot the subtle tension in a neighbor's shoulders, or realize someone just changed their daily routine. These tiny details help us understand our neighbors better than anyone else. And finally, in maturity, this transforms into a solid reputation. People come to see you as a highly observant, key community member, the mediator everyone trusts because, well, you've been paying attention all along. Moving right along to Section 2, Gossip and Unconventional Neighbors, Interactions at the Open Gate. It's a simple fact. Local gossip often reaches you first. Because you're so incredibly attuned to your environment, you become a natural magnet for updates. People just sense that you're observant, and they instinctively want to share information with you. I mean, you're just out there watering the lawn, and suddenly you're getting the complete, unfiltered backstory on the pavement repair schedule. It's fascinating, for sure, but as we'll see, being this central hub can really impact your daily life if you aren't careful. And get this, you also attract unusual or unconventional neighbors. You don't just get the quiet folks who keep perfectly manicured lawns. Oh no, your natural curiosity draws in the eccentric artist who sculpts metal at 2 a.m., or maybe the family with like 6 parrots. You end up living near the real characters of the neighborhood because your open, inquisitive energy creates a safe harbor for the unconventional. Life is definitely never boring with this placement. Section 3. Navigating local communication traps when fences blur. Now, there is a super delicate balance here. On one hand, you have incredibly sharp communication skills. You're articulate, you can read a room perfectly, and you know exactly how to talk to everyone on your street. But on the flip side, we see the danger, intrusive behavior. According to the source material, these sharp skills can easily become a little, well, nosy. It's the difference between noticing your neighbor looks stressed and offering a quick, kind word versus noticing they're stressed and asking them probing questions about their marriage while they're just trying to grab their groceries out of the car. When social boundaries in local life feel unclear, your natural curiosity can accidentally cross that line from caring to intrusive. Let's break down the energy spent on local drama to see these communication traps in action. Look at how this splits up. A whopping 40% of your mental energy might get totally drained by an HOA dispute that you aren't even a party to. Then, 35% goes into analyzing the whole barking dog incident down the block, and another 25% is spent playing amateur detective on who exactly scratched the car. The source material strictly warns that you might unknowingly get sucked right into other people's issues. It playfully but very seriously shows how quickly local drama can hijack your daily life and totally zap your precious mental energy if you don't build a sturdy fence. Which brings us to Section 4, the art of stepping back, building a sturdy fence. Learning when to step back really becomes a key life lesson here. Pulling away from the neighborhood gossip or politely excusing yourself from that intense HOA venting session at the mailbox, that's not a loss of connection. Actually, scratch that. It's absolutely a vital step in your personal growth. Your natural instinct is going to be to lean in and figure everything out, but the major life lesson is mastering the discipline to observe, acknowledge, and then simply walk away. And when you do that, an incredible outcome happens. You gain genuine influence in your immediate environment. This is a huge takeaway from the source material. By not getting tangled up in every single barking dog incident, you elevate yourself. You completely transform from the nosy neighbor who knows everything into a highly respected community mediator. When you speak, people actually listen because they know you aren't driven by petty drama. You're driven by a genuine care for the neighborhood's well-being. Okay, let's get practical in Section 5. Your Healthy Boundary Checklist. Practical tips for local interactions. Let's walk through this checklist together. First up, practice mindful listening at the fence line. Hear what your neighbor is saying, be present, but don't feel the sudden need to solve all their problems or dig for extra gossip. Second, actively manage your natural curiosity regarding neighbors. Just because you can figure out what's going on next door doesn't mean you should. Third, interpret those nonverbal cues you're so brilliant at spotting without jumping to wild conclusions. Remember, empathy, not assumptions. Fourth, avoid getting sucked into unnecessary local drama. Seriously, think back to that whole HOA dispute. Protect your energy. And finally, establish and maintain clear social boundaries. It is 100% okay to just say, hey, it was lovely chatting, but I've got to get back inside. And that brings us right to our final thought. True local influence doesn't come from knowing everyone's business. It comes from knowing exactly when to step back. If there is literally one single thing you take away from this explainer, let it be this. You have a wonderful, totally natural gift for connection and observation in your local community. But your true power, your real influence as a positive force in your neighborhood, lies entirely in the healthy boundaries you build. So the next time the neighborhood gossip reaches you first, what are you going to choose to do with it? Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you next time.